What's up everybody, this is Matt from BTD Gaming and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel video, and today we're going to be looking at one of the best decks in this standard format here on Master Duel, and this deck is actually making some noise in the regular TCG as well because of a certain card coming back to 3, and we'll hit on that in a second. But we're going to be focused on the standard ban list here for Master Duel because that's all we really have to work with, and the deck we're talking about is Eldlich, more specifically the Trap variant. Now the thing about Eldlich is that this is a strategy that's been around for a while now. It's very good, it's very powerful, has a lot of recursion, has a lot of searching, and just overall good power level, and can compete with other top decks in this standard format on Master Duel. So we're going to go through the card by card here on this deck list, and we're going to also watch some replays and see how this deck performs. So I'll see you at the deck profile. Alright, here we are at the deck profile, and as you can see, the main deck has 40 cards in it, and we're going to go through the card by card and explain kind of what this deck is trying to do. So first we'll start with some hand traps, and we have, of course, Maxi. This can go in basically any deck, and it makes your deck better. Maxi is a must include in basically any deck in this standard Master Duel format, and Eldlich is no different. Again, it makes your opponent think about how far they want to go with their combo, if they want to take that Maxi challenge, or if this stops them in their tracks, which can also, in a not as direct way, be interruption in that kind of way if your opponent stops doing their combo because they don't want you drawing cards. Maxi, fantastic card, must include in this deck. Next we have Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, and what's funny about this is, yes, this is a very standard hand trap, but this is also a zombie, so it shows it has some synergy with the rest of the deck, believe it or not. There's also some of the other Ghost Girl cards that can go with this, but I think Ash Blossom is the most versatile. It's probably the best of them. So yeah, so not only is this a good hand trap to have, but it also has some synergy with the rest of the deck as well because Ash is a zombie. So a 3 of in this deck. Next, we have the Golden Boy himself, Eldlich, the Golden Lord. Now, we only run 2 in the deck because you don't necessarily want to see him in your opening hand. He's very easy to get out from the deck. If you see him in your opening hand, it's not the worst thing in the world. But having 3 just feels like overkill. You can substitute that with really anything else. So we have 2 Golden Lords in here. Just a great card. What can I say? Again, the recursion, he can come back to your hand. Special summon to the field. He's powerful. That 2500 can turn to 3500. You know, and his effect allows you to pop cards, and a lot of your own cards that you need to send to the graveyard have graveyard effects as well. So he's really the real engine of this deck, and he's also basically your win condition. So Eldlich, the Golden Lord, the main boss monster of this deck, run him at 2. So that's it with the monsters. Not a huge monster lineup because, well, a lot of the trap cards will be doing a lot of the work, but we'll get to those in a second. 1 Raigeki, if you want to replace that with something else that you prefer, maybe a second Called By or whatever, or maybe a second one of these spells, be my guest, but I like just having this card in here if you need that quick board wipe, or, you know, monster board wipe that can catch your opponent off guard. This card can win you games. So I just threw it in here. Next, we have 3 Pot of Extravagance. Now, the reason why I chose Pot of Extravagance is because over Prosperity is because I think banishing 6 and drawing 2 is better than choosing 6 cards to banish and only picking 1 from a set of 6 cards. Especially because the extra deck doesn't really matter all that much in this build. Yeah, there are some cards in the extra deck that can help. There are some that are useful, but this deck is not dependent on those cards. So the sheer effect of drawing 2 cards from Pot of Extravagance, if you banish 6, you're not really losing that much. So Extravagance is, I feel like, just fits this deck better. If you prefer Prosperity, be my guest, but I would go with 3 Extravagance here. Next, we have one Elixir of Black Awakening. This is one of the Eldritch spell cards that can special summon a zombie monster. This one from your hand or deck, and you would use it to special summon most likely Eldlich, but you can also special summon the Ash Blossom if you need to. Also, just like all the others, has a graveyard effect. And this card is just very, very good. You can banish it and set a Goldenland spell trap directly from the deck. Again, the recursion, the searchability, the being able to just pull cards straight from the deck, and all of these cards do this. Alright, and this is just another one that does. So 1 Elixir of Black Awakening, 2 Cursed Eldland, because, well, it's at 2, and honestly, even if it was at 3, I would probably still run it at 2. It's not a must include of 3, just because, like, how many times you have to use this is, you run 2 Golden Lords, 2 Cursed Eldlands fits. Again, just like the other effects of these cards, right, you can, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can send an Eldritch monster or Goldenland spell trap from your deck to the graveyard, because they all have graveyard effects. Very, very good. A lot of times, if you're searching your Eldritch, you'll use your Eldritch to pop this card and eventually activate its effect. So 2 Cursed Eldland, 1 Called by the Grave, again, goes back to the Raigeki thing. If you'd rather have 2 instead of 1 Raigeki, be my guest. But I think 1 Called by the Grave is fine. Then we have Elixir of White Destiny. This is ultimately a quick play version of the other Elixir spell, except this is from the hand or graveyard, right? And it's a quick play, so very, very good. 3 Torrential Tribute. Now, this card works insanely well with this deck, and here's why. First of all, your opponent doesn't always see it coming. Second of all, it can clear off the monsters off their board. And third, that means you need to clear off your Eldritch or clear off any of the traps you special summon to your side of the field. It's not that big a deal, because Golden Lord can just, he has that recursion to come back to your hand. And the other trap cards have effects in the grave as well. So even if you have to clear those out with Torrential Tribute, you're still getting good effects, and you're still able to make plays, even if essentially sacrificing some of your cards to get rid of your opponents and stopping their big plays. It's very, very worth it. Next, we have Compulse, Compulsionary Evacuation Device. You can sub this out for anything if you want to. The only reason I really have this in here is because I don't have certain cards. If you want to sub this out for, let's say, Ice Dragon's Prison, or Solemn Judgment, or Solemn Strike, or whatever, you know, be my guest. I'm sure that will be fine. I don't have those cards currently. I just have like 1 Solemn Judgment. But Compulse is still a very solid card, and if you choose to run Trap Trick in here, this can be searched from Trap Trick as well. So Compulse, good card. We have Infinite Impermanence, you know, Hand Trap, just a must include in most decks anyway. Now we're getting to a lot of the Eldritch traps. We have Elixir of Scarlet Sanguine. This can special summon the zombie monster from your deck or graveyard. This is so that you can get your Eldritch Golden Lord on your side of the field during your opponent's turn, so then it puts your other Eldritch trap cards online once they get special summoned to the field, and you'll see why that's important in a minute. This card is also searchable from those cards once they're banished from the grave. So 3 Scarlet Sanguine, really, really good card. We have 2 Dogmatic Punishment, just for removal purposes. We have Goldenland Forever, which is an interesting include, because you have to be really smart about when you use this, because you need to tribute a zombie monster, and most of the time that's going to be your Eldritch, unless you have something else on the field. But if you're using this, you need to use it at the most optimal time. If you do, this card can actually win you games. So Goldenland Forever, really good card if used correctly. And here we go, we have 3 Skill Drain. Now this is the card I was talking about in the TCG. In the last ban list update for the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG, this card was just brought back to 3, so, you know, a TCG version of this deck is actually making some noise, but Skill Drain was already 3 in this standard Master Duel format. Again, must include, it can shut down your opponent's turn, and you'll probably have the biggest monster on the field anyway with Golden Lord, so Skill Drain, just a fantastic card. to shut your opponent down and essentially win you the game. We have 2 Hakuero. Its effect to banish from the graveyard is good depending on the situation, depending on what you're banishing. But you also really want this card for its graveyard effect. For when you banish it, you can set an Elixir card directly from the deck. Elixir spell or trap directly from the deck, so that's why a big reason why you would run this. And then probably the best trap in the deck is Conquistador of the Golden Land. If your Golden Lord, if your Eldlich monster is on the field, when this card is special summoned via its effect, you can pop one of your opponent's monsters. Just a very good card, and again, just like the other spell or traps in this deck, it has a graveyard effect. You can set an Elixir spell or trap, and you would use that to set your Scarlet Sanguine, your Black Awakening, or your White Destiny. So just a very good card overall. So that's the main deck, 40 cards, and now we're going to get into the extra deck. Now, like I said before, you're not really relying on the extra deck. You know, there are some cards that you can use, like Elder Entity Entis. You use this to, with your combo with Dogmatic Punishment once you send it to the grave. If you have 3 of this, run 3. I don't have 3 right now, because, you know, they're URs. But if you have 3 Elder Entity Entis, run 3 in the extra deck. You have nothing to lose. Especially because you don't want to banish it with your Extravagance. You know, you would replace, like, the Leviair or the Break Sword with the Elder Entity. So, yeah, if you have 3 of those, run 3. I'm running these Xyzs because they're level 3s, and Ash is a level 3, so maybe that'll come up, but probably not. If these 3 get banished, it's not a big deal. We have Rail Cannon Gustav Max. If you want the other Rail Cannon in here as well, be my guest. Again, it's a UR, so I just don't have it, but if you want to put it in there, there is some use for this. If you want to inflict that 2,000 burn damage, maybe that can win you the game. Maybe that's the final blow. But it works really well with this deck, so it's good to include this in the extra deck. We're dealing with Xyz monster, so naturally we need Defiant Arsenal, AA Zeus, Sky Thunder, and the rest of these they can just kind of get rid of, like Link Spider, Imduct, Secure Guard them. The Nightmares might come up, but again, if you're banishing them, it's not the biggest deal in the world. And, you know, Apollosa probably won't come up, Access Code probably won't come up, but, you know, maybe there's a niche situation where they do. You know, so, yeah, so, you know, the main deck, it's very tight, I think. I'm keeping it at 40 cards. There are 60 card versions of this deck, 60 card variants, but I kind of like to keep it to 40. That's just my personal preference. There are some substitutions you can make. Other cards that you can include in this deck are Trap Trick or Ice Dragon's Prison. Maybe some of the floodgates like Gozen Match. Depending on, you know, you'll have to kind of change your build around if you're including those. But you can customize this deck to your preferred play style. I think this deck is very tight and solid for this standard Master Duel format. So that's the deck profile, and we're going to watch some replays of duels to see how the deck performs. We'll see you there. Alright, here we go for our first duel, and we'll see if we're going first or not. This deck is much better if you go first. We are not going first, we're going second, which is unfortunate. They had terraforming, and oh boy, let's see, and here we go. Magical Meltdown. We all know where this is going. Magical Meltdown, get Alistair. We're going to normal summon Alistair, activate Alistair effect, get the invocation. We all know the drill by now. Grab the invocation. We're going to activate, or no, we're going to link off Alistair for Artemis first. Yeah, can't forget that little play there. Now we're going to activate invocation. We're going to fuse them together by banishing, and we'll just get them back soon anyway. We're going to get the Macabre. We have our negate on board. This is why going first in Eldlich is much more preferable, but sometimes that's just not how it goes. We get the Alistairs back, and yeah, we might see a lot of him in this duel. We'll see. But it's our turn. They only have the Macabre out. That's not the worst thing in the world. We can play around this. We're just going to set a bunch of cards. We're going to activate White Destiny. Macabre is going to negate it, which is fine. And then, alright, so it goes. And then we are just going to pass turn here, and we might... let's see where this goes. They sold the Macabre on board. Would have preferred to get rid of it, but as this. Normal summon Alistair, typical stuff. get Invocation. We're doing the dance again. We can kind of see these are two very good decks that can have a lot of recursion, Eldlich and Invoked. He's getting Elixir Invoker of Madness. That's interesting, but we're going to Dogmatic of Punishment. He got rid of the Macabre, which is an interesting move. Elder Entity to get rid of the face down card. We have in the Invocation. He's going to fuse Elixir and Elder Entity together, and he's going to get Invoked Aldeus, or however you say it. Invocation from the grave, add the Elixir back to hand, the Invocation back to the deck. And we're probably going to see him again eventually, but here we go. We're going to take some damage here, but no, we're going to activate Halcaro, special summon him, but the effect is going to pop him, so we'll activate Conquistador to special summon him, so we don't take a bunch of damage here. So we'll special summon Conquistador to the field, and Halcaro is going to go to the grave, which isn't the worst thing in the world. Both of these traps are going to the grave, and they each have grave effects to banish them, so we can get other cards onto the field, but that's going to be during our end phase. We have Pot of Extravagance, but we're going to Eldlich here, send Pot to the grave, and we're going to get Eldlich to the grave as well to pop his invoked monster. We're going to be able to special summon the Golden Boy himself. He's going to be at 3,500. We're going to swing for big damage. Not bad. So here in our end phase, we're going to activate Halcaro, and we're going to banish it, and we're going to banish Conquistador as well. And this is going to allow us to set some cards. So we're going to set Sanguine, we're going to set Black Awakening, and let's see what our opponent does, but I think we know what they're going to do. Normal Alistair. But we're going to activate Sanguine in response. We're going to chain it. So we're going to get another Eldlich out onto the field, which isn't bad. Alright, but he's still going to get the Alistair effect. He gets the Invocation, and we're going to do the dance again. Activate Invocation. We're going to banish Alistair, banish the Invoked, and we're going to get another Macabre. Wonderful. He has his negate on the board as well. Invocation goes back to the deck. Alistair goes back to the hand. We all know how it goes, and the Dear Servant doesn't help things. Now we get Dogmatica Ecclesia. That's a problem. They have the Elder Entity, but they target the Eldlich for some reason, and that's just not going to work because of his effect. Interesting move, but he does have another Dogmatica card. He has Floridus the Knighted, and he has some boys on the field. Increase the attack by the one Eldlich, and then here we go. Alistair effect to increase the attack of the Macabre. 2 Alistairs in hand, so he's going to increase the attack by 2,000. He's going to be at 4,500, so we're going to say goodbye to this other Eldlich, lose 1,000. We're going to take significant damage this turn, but good thing for us, our Eldlich can come back. So here we go, draw a phase, let's see what we get. Oh, another Conquistador, not bad. We're going to activate Elixir. We're going to set Halcaro and set Conquistador. We're going to send the Black Awakening to the grave to special summon our Golden Lord after adding him to the hand. We now have the biggest monster on the field. We're going to banish Black Awakening to set another Conquistador, and we're going to get that Macabre out of here. I don't want to see him anymore. Not bad. Again, as you can see, this deck can just bring guys back, bring your Golden Lord back, and we have the largest monster on the field again, but he has another Magical Meltdown. He gets another Alistair. He's going to normal summon another Alistair. That's just crazy. Invocation again. He's going to activate Invocation, and he's going to get banished by one Eldlich and his Alistair. So one of the Eldliches is gone, and he gets another Macabre. This is a big problem. But we're going to activate Halcaro. We're going to try to banish the Invocation, but he's going to use Macabre to negate the effect, but he used the effect already, so we're going to get Conquistador to get rid of the Macabre, because it is Chain Link 4, and the Macabre used its effect on the Halcaro. So that interaction turned out very, very well, actually. He still gets the Invocation effect to get Alistair back in hand, but we got the Macabre off the board. So he's going to crash in with the Eldlich. Again, not the biggest deal in the world, because he can come back. We're going to lose more life points here, but we're still in a pretty good spot, actually. It may not seem like that. Our opponent has the card advantage, but that's what this deck can do really well, is bring guys back. Even the Impermanence is very good. We are going to bring back Eldlich, special summon. We send the Conquistador to grave. Again, largest monster on the field. We're going to attack the Elixir, 2500, and let's see how our opponent responds to this. We'll set the Infinite Impermanence. We'll set the Sanguine, even though we don't have another Eldlich because he was banished because of the invocation. And now he's on the defensive. And this is big. This is really, really big. We're going to Scarlet Sanguine, and we're just going to get another body out. We're going to get an Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring just to have out there just in case. We didn't have Ash in our hand anyway, so it's not like we were using the hand trap, so it might as well be used for something. Max C is a good one. We're going to activate another Sanguine to get another Ash on field. We're going to enter battle, get rid of the Elixir, and we're going to pass turn. And let's see what our opponent has to do. They're in a really rough spot. Only 1,000 life points left, and what do they have? Elixir, but we have Imperm to negate the Elixir effect, so they can't get it, and that's probably gonna be it. It doesn't seem like they have any more moves. Oh, Shadow Fusion, but we're gonna max C that to see if we can get value off of it anyway. Man, this deck is so good. It's just so resilient and so consistent. He's going to bring out, let's see, Winda, which doesn't really do much right now, actually. Winda is a lot better earlier in the game, so I'm still feeling pretty good about our chances here. We're going to enter our draw phase and see how this goes. 2 Cursed Eldlands. Again, this card doesn't really do much right now. We're going to attack the Winda, lose 300, and activate Winda effect. We'll get the Shadow Fusion back. Alright, so we're in a really, really good spot. Our Eldlich stays on the board. And if we need to get rid of the Cursed Eldland and activate its effect, we can do that as well. And he's going to activate Invocation, fuse Elixir, fuse Ash, and what's he going to bring out? It's a fire, so invoke Purgato. And this is a problem because he's 2,900. We're going to get Elixir back to hand, and we're going to beef up this guy even more. So send Elixir, make him 3,900. He's going to swing over the Eldlich. We'll lose 1,400. He can attack again, and we'll take piercing damage. So now we're kind of on the defensive. We're at 700, but again, Eldlich never seems to go away. We're going to activate Eldlich from the grave and back to our hand. We're going to special summon him from our hand. He's going to be 3,500. Not sure why I set that. We are going to swing for game. And it was kind of a grind, but Eldlich takes down Invoke Shadal Dogmatica. Alright, here we go. Our next duel with Eldlich, and let's see what we got going on. Again, we want to go first. Going first with Eldlich is so good. Let's see what we can manage to do. Not an awful opening hand. It's funny, we actually drew a lot of spells instead of a lot of traps, which is rare. We're going to Extravagance here, banish 6 cards. We'll be able to draw 2. We'll activate Cursed Eldland, pay 800, and we're going to add Golden Boy to our hand. And we're going to activate Golden Boy effect, and we're going to send him to the grave, activate Cursed Eldland effect to get Conquistador to the grave, activate Eldlich, send Punishment, but he has Scythe! Frame Gear Gamma, that's a killer. We use a lot of resources to make this play happen. Maybe we overcommitted too early, but still, that's not great. Conquistador will get banished. We'll set a Sanguine, which is something, but we'll see what our opponent has to offer here. And Emergency Teleport, and I think we know what this deck might be. We might be dealing with some Virtual World shenanigans. Called by the Grave! Oh, that card is a killer against Eldlich. So he's gonna banish our Golden Lord, so we can't bring him back. We're now down to only 1 Golden Lord to use. E-Tele will go through, and yes, we have Virtual World. So the Virtual World shenanigans are gonna begin. They're gonna banish the trap. Right now we have, I can't even say Amihimi. I can't pronounce these names. And we're just gonna sit here and let the Virtual World player do its thing. Synchro off. And man, at 3,000, and we're gonna lose our Eldlich. Thankfully, he's not banished. We still have him, but this is kind of an uphill battle. Virtual World is a very good deck in this standard format. Let's see how it goes. Goldenland Forever is a good one, but we're gonna activate Sanguine to set Conquistador. Activate Raigeki. Again, we're kind of overcommitting, but we need to put the pressure on our opponent. We can't let them. We have a Call by the Grave for ourselves. We're going to banish the one virtual world card whose name is escaping me right now. What was it? Is that Lulu or whatever? It's the good one. So now they can't activate its effect. It's negated. Boom, not bad. Curse Eldland. We're going to pay another 800. They have Ash Blossom. They had the size, and now they have Ash Blossom. These hand traps are killing us in this game. That's just unfortunate. Luckily, Eldlich can just come back and... Oh, right. Negated. Well, misplay there, but we're going to send the Goldenland traps to the banish zone, and we are going to set some cards and pray that we don't die this turn. Now, luckily, Virtual World doesn't really do like heavy damage in one turn. We also have a Sanguine set, so we can make something happen. They're going to banish the trap and again do Virtual World shenanigans, but we have Sanguine and another Ash! Another Ash! They've had Called By, they've had Ash, they've had Gear Frame or whatever the side card is. These hand traps are killing us. We should be ahead right now. But that's the game, and that's just an unfortunate part of this. So now they're going to have plays happen. Again, we're going to sort of let this. They're going to decrease the level of the monster. Stardust Charge Warrior. Add another virtual card to hand. Use the spell. Special summon. Virtual World Phoenix Fan. Interesting. We're going to take more damage, and we are... we're on the ropes here. This isn't looking very good. It's our turn, thankfully. We didn't die yet, so we draw Halkera, which isn't terrible. Elixir, we're going to set Conquistador. We're going to set Haquero, but we're going to get rid of it for the Golden Boy. We're finally going to be able to summon him after what feels like forever. They have no more hand traps. We'll activate Elixir. Oh, I forgot our guy was banished. Another misplay on my part, but we're going to get rid of the Fan. And then we're going to negate the Fan with Goldenland Forever, because we're able to just get rid of the Ash as tribute to negate the effect. Not a bad move here, because now our opponent doesn't have a ton of advantage on us. Halkero is going to be sent. We have another Sanguine. We have our Conquistador set, and things might be turning around here. We'll activate Conquistador to special him to the field, and this will allow us to be able to pop a card. We're going to get rid of the spell. I want that out of here. Qinglong is gone, but again, Virtual World is just another resilient deck, just like Eldlich can be, and it's hard to keep up with it, especially with a slower paced deck like this, but we'll see how it goes. Our opponent now has 3 monsters on the board, and what are we going to do here? We have... Ooh, Constellar. Interesting. Alright, well, Eldritch goes back to hand, which isn't the worst thing in the world. That turn could have turned out a lot worse, but Constellar turns into, let's see what we got, Zeus. So this is a problem, but we need a way to figure this out. Zeus can be a real problem. Dogmatic Punishment, interesting. We're going to Eldlich and try to pop the Zeus. He's going to activate the Zeus effect to clear the board anyway, just to get some value out of Zeus before he gets popped by Eldlich. But we have Conquistador in grave, so we're going to set Elixir of White Destiny. And now, well, here's where we're at. You know, none of us have really much advantage. Now they do. They have a Virtual World card in hand. And it's going to be very interesting where this goes. Enter battle phase. They're going to swing, but we're going to activate White Destiny to special summon Golden Boy back to the field. So now he's not going to attack. It's our turn. Let's see where this goes. Let's see what we draw. Torrential Tribute is nice. We're going to set, and we're just going to swing over. So now we have the advantage. Neither of us have cards in hand, but we have the cards on the field. We have the strongest card and a good stun trap to go with it. And they give up. They have no more moves. And Eldlich hangs on against Virtual World. A close game, but that just shows, you know, the recursion of Eldlich and how we can really overwhelm your opponent. Alright, here we go. Our final duel of the video here, and let's see what we've got. Eldlich has been performing really well against some of the top decks of this standard format. let's see what this next deck has to offer. Max C in hand is very good. We're also going first. That's what I like to see. We're going to activate Black Awakening. We're going to get Eldlich on the board right away, because now our Conquistador's effect will be online when we activate it. And let's see what our opponent has. And it is... oh, Dinos. This is going to be a tough matchup. We're going to Max C the Lost World. Now, this puts our opponent in a very interesting predicament. Do they take the Max C challenge and use all their summons to get all their dinos on the field and give us just a ton of cards, or do they stop here? And they're summoning Oviraptor, so I think they're going to go for it, which is very, very interesting. Oviraptor 1, Lost World Chain Link 2. We get our Jurassic token. We draw Pop Extravagance, and yeah, they're taking the Max C challenge. They're going to send Misk, but we're going to chain Conquistador before the Misk effect resolves. So we're still going to pop something. We're going to pop the Oviraptor. Misk resolves, and now they're going to banish it to summon Archosaur. We get another card from Max C. And oh, here we go, double evolution pill, and this is gonna be tough. And this is what they get for taking the Max C challenge. We're just drawing cards all over the place, but they're gonna get some powerful cards on the field as well. So it's one of those balancing acts that you need to take into consideration when you're going against the Max C. Link Karibo, interesting move. Now, I activate Compulse. I want to get the egg out because we know that Ultimate Conductor Tyranno is coming. So we don't want this many defense monsters on the board because of his effect. Secure Gardener, we get another card. Scrap Chimera. We're going to special Scrap Raptor. We get another card. Our hand's getting so full. They're going to Exceed them for Tornado Dragon. We're going to get another card. They're going to use Tornado Dragon to pop the Torrential Tribute. Not the biggest deal in the world. Double Evolution Pill. This is going to be tough. We get the Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. And we're going to have to take some, but man, look at our hand. We're just in a really good spot. So now our Eldlich is in defense, and he gets Pancratops on the field. Not a bad board. We lose the Eldlich. Direct attack. We're taking some damage here, but this could have gone a lot worse. And we also have an incredibly full hand. They took the Max C challenge, and they might regret it. We have Pop Extravagance. We're going to get more cards here. And oh man, we have Sanguine, Torrential Tribute, Halkero, Conquistador. We also have Raigeki, which is crazy. Eldlich to the hand. We're going to special summon Eldlich, the Golden Lord. And naturally, we're going to send our other Eldlich to get rid of the Lost World. That's huge. We're going to set Halkero from the Sanguine. Activate Raigeki, Tornado Dragon. This isn't going to do anything. We have Elixir of White Destiny as Chain Link 3. We're going to special summon another Eldlich. He has Pancratops. He's going to pack the Halkero. He's also going to chain Conductor Tyranno to switch the 1 in defense, but it doesn't matter because we're going to get another guy out there. Pancratops pops Halkero. White Destiny brings out another Eldlich. And Tornado Dragon is not going to do anything to counter this Raigeki. His board is gone. Wow, we cleared off that board, and that's what you get for taking the Max C challenge. All those plays we were able to do, and here we are, full back row. He has Evolution Pill, but we have Goldenland Forever. We're going to tribute the face down Golden Lord to negate the double Evolution Pill, so he's not going to get his Ultimate Tyranno out. Does he have any more moves? He does not. Eldlich, thanks major help to Max C, takes the win against Dinos. Alright, so as you can see, Eldlich Trap is just a very good deck in this current standard Master Duel format. We'll see how it performs if we do get the TCG list, but we'll just have to see because this deck looks like it'll be good in the TCG as well. So yeah, I think this deck performed really well. We went up against some of the top decks in this format and came out on top. Going first with this deck is huge. This is definitely a going first deck, so going second is kind of a disadvantage there, but you know, we'll have to see. And also, sometimes if they banish your Golden Lord, if they get rid of both your Golden Lords and banish them, you're kind of out of luck. So there are ways around this deck. There are ways to beat this deck. This deck isn't like tier 0 invincible, but man, it's really good, especially once it gets going. Once that Eldlich is in your grave and you're bringing it back to your hand, you're special summoning, you're popping cards, you're banishing traps from your grave to set other traps. Really, really good. Eldritch Trap, I definitely recommend trying this deck out. Again, if there are some cards you feel like you need to switch around, be my guest. But I had a really good time with this deck, and the results speak for themselves. So, this has been another Master Duel video. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. The channel is growing, which is awesome. We'd like to see it grow even more. So, this has been Matt from BTD Gaming, and we'll see you on the next one. Later.